I used to live for the weekends. Every day I used to wake up, go to my classes, eat lunch, and then go straight to my on-campus job. And I would do that day in and day out, just making enough money to go to locals. At the core of the fighting game community is locals, the regular meetups between you and other people in your area to compete in your specific game, try out new games, try out new tech, and overall just sharing the community aspect of what makes the FGC. But in recent years, locals have fallen into a bit of a sorry state. With the onset of the pandemic, many events were moved online, where the FGC had to come greatly to terms with the fact that the online fighting game experience isn't good. Okay, let's not sugarcoat it. The fighting game online experience was trash. Things got better as the pandemic went on. More devs started to release fighting games with better netcode. And with how successful games like Strive and Multi-Blood have been, in terms of bringing new people into the scene, a lot of new people, especially in the competitive side of the FGC, have come to appreciate online competition. What would have been unheard of in the early 2010s is now just an accepted reality of fighting game play. But with the improvements with fighting game online play, a lot of the FGC's past is starting to die off. Many arcades like the Sega Arcade in Japan and the Green Arcade in Korea have shut their doors during the pandemic years. These epicenters of fighting game history and culture will never build new memories, and instead leaving us with the old ones to cherish. With the pandemic's rise came the fall of the arcades. Many local communities took action and they brought their offline events to the online atmosphere. And this has really helped to cultivate the strength of the FGC and cultivate the strength in our individual communities. We're all keeping our swords sharp and ready for whenever we can come back to offline play. But that's the core of the problem. Many of them aren't coming back to offline play. I've talked in the past about how we're in a transitionary period for the FGC. We're moving to a next generation of consoles with a new flagship series of fighting game titles to go with them. And amidst all of that is coming changes in how we run things. I've seen offline venues that used to pack dozens of players in to compete every single week to now just barely even struggle to get 5 people to enter. And that's because most of the games that are coming out now just have that good of an online experience. Why would people leave their homes, in some cases drive an hour out and an hour back just to compete in a game that they can just play from their home? That's a genuine problem that the FGC is facing now, which then begs the question, will locals stay alive in the next 5 to 10 years of the FGC? Now, there are a couple arguments in favor of locals. With online competition, you don't get the same community feel as you do with offline events. When you get to your local, you'll find yourself in a fairly decent sized room with rows upon rows of consoles and monitors. If you're at an esports venue, maybe there's just a bunch of high-end gaming PCs for you guys to work with. And you see people, they're chatting up, they're talking about their weeks, they're running long sets with each other outside of the bracket, the TOs gathering names, maybe even got the dudes running the stream off in the corner, managing the stream setup, maybe entertaining the chat a little bit. And it really helps to build that sense like you are a part of something bigger than yourself. And that to a lot of people is what makes the fighting game community the fighting game community. We're not just a bunch of people gathered together in a room to play a video game. It's a group of friends and rivals that all share in a collective passion. And it's not something you can find in many other places. Whereas if you're going to an online event, you're signing up to the bracket online, you enter a Discord server, and then you're just a name, just typing in a Discord channel or just typing in Twitch chat as things go on. You're not building those social relationships. You're just waiting around to see when your next match is coming up. You get queued up for it. Maybe you even get put on stream for a little bit. But then you don't really get that sense of scope. You don't get that sense of scale. You don't really get a sense for how big everything you're involved with really is, because you don't really get to see everyone and everything that is involved in what it is that you're doing. But obviously with the online format, there are also a bunch of benefits. You don't have to worry about going out for a commute. You don't have to worry about what it is that I have to eat later on because you're at home, you can just cook your own meals. And if you're traveling and eating out like every single weekend, then those costs can begin to pile up. And if you're a serious competitive player, that already stacks up on top of the continued expenses of keeping up to date with different versions of the game, buying new season passes. And this is doubly true if you're a tournament organizer who has to make sure that every single station that you have set up has the game updated to the right version that it needs to be at, with everyone's characters. You can't leave anyone out, so you have to always buy all the DLC characters. And in games where the stage meta matters, like Tekken and Smash Bros, you have to make sure you have all the stages as well, or at least a select number of stages. Running events online very drastically reduces not only the regular weekly costs of being an attendee, but they also reduce the maintenance costs of being a TO. You don't have to worry about making sure that everyone has everything for their setup, because it's their setup. And if they're playing online, everyone has access to the characters that they're going to want to play with anyway. So really, if you're a TO for an online event, all you really have to worry about is, do you have the game? Are you able to stream it? Are you able to run the brackets? Then you're good. And you can do all that from a single PC, or just do it from having a PC and a console. That's it. And it's this environment. You in your home, matching up with people, just chilling in their homes, just relaxing in a Discord call. Maybe you get some matches in with other people outside of the bracket, but other than what's going on stream and in the brackets, you're not getting much of a play experience outside of it. You're there to compete, do your thing, and when everything's all over, everyone logs off. Whereas at locals, you spent the time to go out there and compete with people, so now you're just gonna want to stick around and get as much gameplay experience with other people as you possibly can. Maybe you want to lab out certain matches with people, so you're just sitting around grinding that real quick. Maybe you have some tech you want to show someone, so you just both boot up training mode and then go through the ropes on a few things. But those aren't things that can't be done online. Those are just things that aren't culturally done at most online events. Many games have really solid lobby features, so running long sets is no issue, and it can be easily done in every fighting game. And an even better thing is that a number of fighting games are starting to embrace having an online training mode, allowing people to lab out and experiment with different things in a safe testing environment without having to be in person. The only thing that's keeping the casual experience of locals outside of online events is just that most people don't bother to ask, but those that do will still get that experience. So at the end of the day, what's the reason to go to a local? It is hard for me to see less and less people making the trip out there to try and compete with those in their area, but I understand what most fighting game players are thinking. When I got started competing, it was purely in online events. I didn't know that there was a local scene nearby me. I didn't have a car, so that way I could drive myself out to these events, which were 45 minutes away had I been aware of them. And even now, if I were to want to go to my nearest local, I have to drive an hour and a half to get to the nearest area. Now, I could just set up something near where I'm at, so that way I can compete with people that are close within my region, that are within like a 30-minute radius of where I'm at. But then I have to go through all the maintenance costs of, okay, can I get enough setups? How do I secure a venue? Will I have enough money to fund the prize pool and get DLC consistently? How many games can I support? Can I run this all myself? And at the end of the day, if I'm the one person who's doing this and I have no guarantee that there's anyone else around me to make this all worth it, why would I run a local? It's easier to just get started just by running an event online, because even if no one shows up, the upfront cost for you to run an online event, assuming that you already have a decent console to start from, that you have at least a PC or a laptop to run the brackets, and you really don't even need to stream. You don't even need to stream yourself, so you don't even need like a fancy streaming PC or anything like that. And even then, the modern consoles that we're playing on right now can just stream the game base by itself to Twitch or to YouTube or to Facebook. You don't really even need that much else besides what's already there for you to play the game. So the argument for starting an offline local right now, especially when more and more people are playing online and less people are making the trip out to offline events outside of majors and regionals, why go to locals? I don't know. I personally hope that I'm wrong. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you guys still go to your locals, because I personally wish I still could. If you enjoyed this discussion, make sure to like this video and also subscribe for more videos like this. This is a bit of a different video for me, as it's a lot more opinion based than what I usually end up doing. So let me know if you guys enjoy this format, and I will try and do a lot more of this in the future. If you want to know what some of my other thoughts are about the future of the FGC, make sure to check out this video right here. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. I've been ShaolinPretzels, and as always, stay salty.